Welcome to my channel. Today, we're going to look at some oddly satisfying Reddit stories. So let's get started. The first story is called Bitten by a Snake. When I was about 12 years old, I was bitten by a snake while walking barefoot through tall grass. My dad drove me to the nearest hospital, which was about 30 minutes away. On the way there, he stopped at a gas station to use the bathroom. As we were walking into the gas station, I took off my flip-flop, which had a little blood in it from the bite. I must have looked like a crazy person because a guy inside the store yelled out, "Hey, man, what happened to your foot?" My dad said, "We've got to get to the hospital right away." The guy looks at my foot and says, "No way, dude, I think that's a brown recluse spider bite. You need to get to the nearest big city hospital now." My dad steps in and says, "Actually, we're on our way there." Then the guy starts freaking out. He drops his Slurpee, runs outside, and starts screaming for everyone to get away because there's a poisonous spider in the parking lot. My dad just shakes his head and walks inside to pay for the gas. He comes back and we drive off. About 5 minutes down the road, I start freaking out because a brown recluse spider bite is actually really serious. But then my dad turns around and asks if I want to go to McDonald's. And then we drive to the hospital. It ended up being nothing, just a small spider bite. I still find it weird how calm my dad was when this guy was freaking out over what he thought was a deadly spider bite. The next story is called Tree Pruning. This isn't mine, but my neighbor's. He hired someone to come and trim all the dead branches off his large oak tree. I watched as the tree trimmer scaled the tree with his harness and rope, saw in hand. He made it look so easy, effortless even. The neighbor came out to watch and chat with me while the work was being done. When the tree trimmer came down, the neighbor paid him and sent him on his way. A few minutes later, the neighbor looks at me, a huge smile on his face, and says, "That was the most oddly satisfying thing I've ever seen." The third story is called Free Car Wash. I don't know why this is so satisfying, but it is. A few weeks ago, I went through a car wash with a friend of mine who hasn't washed his car in months. It was one of those automatic car washes where the brushes barely touch the car. The entire time I'm sitting there watching the brushes barely do anything to his super dirty car. Finally, we get to the end of the car wash and my friend rolls down his window to grab the free air freshener that they always give out. Instead of the usual pleasant smell, this air freshener smelled like pure alcohol. It hit me then that the entire car wash bay was filled with the smell of alcohol instead of the usual chemical cleaner smell. The car wash was basically just a giant mister with some brushes attached. I don't know why, but it was strangely satisfying to see this big, burly biker dude driving through a car wash trying to clean his bike. The fourth story is called Perfectly Sliced Bread. I was at the grocery store the other day, and I saw someone buying a loaf of bread. The cashier sliced it for them right there in the store. The way that she sliced it was very precise. Each slice was exactly the same thickness as the last. She sliced the entire loaf without making any mistakes. It was very satisfying to watch, and the final story is called Squeaky Door. When I was younger, I lived in an apartment building. There was this one door that I had to walk through every day to get to my apartment. It was always squeaking, so my mom put some oil on it to quiet it down. After she did that, it didn't squeak for a whole year. Then one day, I was coming home, and I heard the door squeak. I walked over to it and pushed it open. The moment that it made contact with the frame, it began to squeak again. I couldn't believe how perfectly in sync the squeak was. Every single time that the door opened or closed, it would make a loud squeak. It was so annoying. If you enjoyed these stories, then please check out part 10, and thanks for watching. Thanks for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed and subscribe for more content.